started being 5:30. Hello to everyone attending. Hello to the public gallery and to our wonderful staff and our councillors here. I will just start with an acknowledgement. Devonport City Council acknowledges and pays respects to the Palawakakana people as the traditional and original owners of Lutruwita and continuing custodians of this land on which we gather. We also acknowledge and pay our respects to the Tasmanian Aboriginal elders past and present. It is a council meeting for Monday, 26th of May 2025. Apologies. We do have an apology from Councillor Martin and Councillor Moore. If not, we have a full house of our councillors. As a reminder, all persons in attendance are advised that it is council policy to record council meetings in accordance with council's digital recording policy. The digital recording of this meeting will be made available to the public on council's website for a minimum period of 6 months. The meeting will also be live streamed on council's YouTube channel. Moving right along, any declarations of interest from the councillors?
Yes, ma'am.
Councillor Murphy.
I'd like to declare an interest in agenda item 4.1. I will be leaving the room as I have been engaged previously in my professional capacity as property consultant.
Thank you. Any other declarations of interest from the councillors? If not, moving on, thank you for that. Item 3 is procedural. So we'll get into the confirmation of minutes, which is item 3.1. If I could have a mover, please, of the recommendation. Councillor Viney. Oh, sorry, Councillor Ennis, sorry.
Second.
And Councillor Viney, thank you. Councillor Ennis.
Nothing, please.
Thank you. Councillor Viney.
Merely procedural, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the councillors? Councillor Ennis, therefore, to close.
Consider it closed.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried unanimously. Thank you. 3.2 is public question time. Moving right along. 3.2.1 is responses to questions, which there are none. 3.2.2 is questions on notice from the public. The recommendation is there in the information. If I could have a mover, please. Thank you, Councillor Viney. And a seconder, please.
Second.
Councillor Shane, thank you. Councillor Viney.
Thank you, Mayor. Just the one two-part question in the agenda. Answer is as stated. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Shane. Thank you. Any further comments or questions from the councillors? If not, I will ask Councillor Viney to close.
Consider it closed, Mayor.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
And against? Carried unanimously. Thank you. 3.2.3 is questions without notice from the public. So if there's anybody in the gallery that would like to come up and ask us our questions, the podium is there ready for you. You just state your name and continue.
Petra Wielder, 70 Forest Heights Drive. I just first like to thank Council for answering my questions. I would like to ask some clarification on the second grandstand of the soccer club. As I know that Council made the approval meet the requirements of the planning scheme, but what I and others really want to know is what the second grandstand still adds to the first one, other than a big cost for the community. I don't understand it, the whole process, why we need that second grandstand.
Sure.
Yes,
Thank you.
Through you, Mayor, to clarify the report the council considered back at the March meeting, where that item regarding the grandstand was on the agenda. That was purely as a planning capacity, council's planning authority. The Devonport Strikers had made an application, and council considered that in its planning capacity. So, there's been no funding committed by council towards that project, and it was purely being considered as a planning item.
Excellent. And so can the community have input in
Got
that?
2 questions at the moment, so
Okay.
that's all right.
Going forward, I'm wondering, how does council plan to broaden spending into areas such as sustainability, green infrastructure, biodiversity, or climate adaptation, given the climate and biodiversity emergencies and the benefits of spending money in these areas to the whole of the community, in contrast to sport, which is always a smaller section of the community. I would really like to see spending in this area having a lot more for the benefit of my children, your children, future generation. So the review of your environmental strategy in today's meeting is saying it does not require substantial new investment. I would like to challenge that, because all the actions mentioned in the strategy cannot be accomplished by one part-time NRM officer.
So Petra, may I ask though, just clarify what your question is?
Yeah.
Now asking of you.
I'm sorry, it's always a little bit. So on top of this, so we have one part-time NRM officer, and there's a lot of actions in that environmental strategy, which is great. But there's only one part-time NRM officer, and on top of this, your open space strategy of 2022's key recommendations regarding public open space, which is critical to create livable places and supports mental and physical health. They are still waiting to be implemented. So can council please have a good think about this, how they can broaden the spending in these greening up our council areas and biodiversity, climate change. Our forests are really important places to capture carbon. So
yeah. So if I might answer the question, I think you're asking about spending more.
Yeah.
In your field. So obviously you know that the community had every opportunity to put in for the budget submission. We had community consultation, and we asked, and we had quite a few.
Yeah, I've put
in that area.
Yeah,
I know you did, absolutely. Yeah. So that's your opportunity to let us know what you would like us to spend that pie of the budget on. So we're certainly deliberating that currently. We're in budget mode at the moment.
Yeah.
So we have another workshop coming where we're going to look at that as well as see all those different questions coming from the community. So that is certainly an area that we will look at.
Yeah, okay. So I might put it in writing and...
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can have...
That'd be great.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Petra. Thanks. Hello, how are we?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and councillors, my first question is the toilet situated in Formby Road car park adjacent to the cinema complex.
Just your name and address.
Oh, beg your pardon. It's Bob Vallicott, 11 Cocker Place, Devonport. Sorry. Mayor and councillors, I refer to the letters to the Advocate Editor, April the 19th, 2025, headline, Dark, Dingy, Smelly Toilet in Need of Upgrade. I believe it's council's policy not to comment or respond to letters to the editor. However, I presume that your good self and other councillors and management would have either read or been made aware of the content of the letter. It was pretty damning. I therefore ask if an inspection was made of the toilets by an appropriate officer, and if the condition is as described, what action is being taken to immediately rectify the problems and bring the facilities up to an acceptable standard?
Yeah, through the Mayor, happy to answer that. Obviously we have a maintenance routine which we monitor, but in the longer term, council is looking as part of its budget to upgrade the Stewart Street public toilet block in this next financial year, and in the not too distant future is also looking at some options to upgrade the CMAX public toilet block.
Was an inspection made and some effort made to do something there?
Yeah, no, the toilets are.
Could you just speak up a bit?
The toilets are inspected daily cleaning and monitored.
Thank you. The next one's subject is the Fenton Way car park, decrease in parking spaces. Mayor, I note that apart from permanent loss of the many street parking spots, directly in front of Harris Scarf Department Store, and now what I presume a temporary loss of some 20 spaces within the car park that are fenced off and being used to store building equipment and also to facilitate the construction of the building. Please, can I ask the Chief Executive Officer, how much will the council and Harris Scarf receive to compensate for the loss of business and or revenue, that's for the ratepayers, due to the parking spots in the car park not being able to be used? Could you indicate how much compensation we'll receive for those loss?
Through there, we'll take that on notice and come back to the written by Mr. Devonport.
You would have an idea. Surely it doesn't need taking on notice. I think you know.
Mr. Devonport, thank you. We'll get back to you. Thank you.
You'll have plenty of time, mate. Right.
Thank you, Mr. Devonport.
Okay. My other one is the closed session.
So you're asking a third
That's
question, are you?
question 3.
Just bear with me. Are there others from the gallery that would like to ask? You know how it works. You do 2 questions, and then if there's a third,
Beg your pardon.
thank you. Is there anybody else from the gallery? Well, you just stand there for the moment. Is there anybody else from the gallery that's going to ask any questions tonight? If not, we will allow Mr. Devonport his third question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I wouldn't like to be too greedy. The subject, question 3, subject closed session. I note in the agenda for tonight's meeting that in the closed session 5.4, it's headed the licensing agreement, Bass Strait Maritime Museum. Are you, Mayor, permitted to inform what sort of licence it is? It seems
it's confidential.
It's very confidential.
No, I said, of course not. It's in confidential.
I know it's in the confidential, but all I'm asking, what sort of licence?
No, it's in confidential. Thank you.
Well, can I just add,
No.
Mayor, that in other
Thanks, Mr.
councils, they
Devonport.
do have an explanation why things are taken into confidential or closed sessions.
Thank you, Mr.
It
Devonport.
seems that this council continues its how can I put it, utmost secrecy and
Thank you,
keeping
Mr.
information from the ratepayers.
Thank you. If we don't have other questions from the public gallery, we'll move on. Thank you very much. So we're on to item 3.2.3, questions without notice. Sorry, 3.3, questions on notice from the councillors, there are none. 3.4, notices of motions, there are none. So item 4, we're moving into the planning authority matters. I'll now announce that council intends to act as a planning authority. Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Under the Land Use Planning and Approvals Act 1993 for the consideration of all reports under agendas section 4. 4.1 being 16, 18 and 20 Edward Street, Devonport. All the information is there. I'd like to have a mover, please.
Moved.
Councillor Hollister, thank you. And a seconder, please.
Second.
Councillor Viney. Councillor Hollister.
So I'm looking forward to this development. One of our living city ones that's coming forward. It's a shame probably that they weren't able to get 4 block, but the development looks fairly good on the 3 blocks, so quite happy to support it.
Thank you. Councillor Viney.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll echo some of what Councillor Hollister has said there, in that I fully support this development. I think it fits into our wider strategy for higher density accommodation and residential options within the city. Everything was assessed against the provisions, and they've been covered off in the report. It is worth mentioning that it seemed like the biggest concern, even echoed in the questions earlier, is that there's a reduction in parking. Hopefully some people can take comfort that there will be public parking underneath this development. Correct? No? I've made a mistake there, sorry. Just so there is a net loss of parks.
Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Mountain.
Through you, Madam Mayor, I guess to answer Councillor Viney's question, so the parking, there's 16 on-site spaces.
Yeah.
And they'll be for the future occupiers of that building.
Yeah.
Not for the public.
Yeah. So to continue, we lose 16 places or whatever the capacity of the car park is, which is
A little bit.
Through you, Madam Mayor, approximately 60 spaces.
okay. So we lose 60, but hopefully people can take some comfort in that you could almost throw a rock from a multi-storey car park to that one, and there will be ample space for those parking here. So the one to do or concern with the loss of public parking, and then also a concern that 16 is not going to be enough for that development. I think there's a pretty good case study right beside it with the Red Hot Lofts, where you've got a similar development with no parking for residents there that has seemed to have worked. And obviously, if people want to purchase these residential buildings or residential units totaling 35. Yeah, 35. I mean, obviously there's a market for it there. It's already been tested, and the people that purchase them will purchase them knowing that there isn't necessarily a car spot. I think it shows the diversification and changing of inner city living, where if you're living this close to the mall and services and facilities, you don't necessarily need a car. So that's been covered off in the report, and I'll quite happily support it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Shane.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I'm supportive of the development. I wanted to talk more generally about the representations that have been received. And I say this sincerely, we're so lucky to have people that actually take the time to look at developments coming through and offer up some thoughts or concerns. But these two in particular were largely supportive. I just wanted clarification on a few items. More generally, I think as the city does become more, the CBD does become more dense, it's really important to remember that it is a busy city. It's a working port, and it is important to remember that that's not going to change. I think as people do move into the city and treat it as a residential area, they need to sort of understand that there are going to be street festivals, street parades, ships walk going past making, big noises and whatnot. When I lived in Sydney, it was often an issue that when the city became a little bit more residential, that people sort of wanted the city to stop being city. And I'm really drawing out my comments, so I'll try and make it succinct. I think it's important as a council that we remember the city is going to be busy and noisy, but there are lots of upsides to living in the CBD, which far outweigh a bit of business. But I think as a council, we really need to be resolute. We're still going to have our street parades. We're still going to have ferries going up and down the river. And I celebrate the fact that it is a very busy urban area.
Thank you. Councillor Wilczynski.
Thank you, Mayor. I agree that this is what we need. A couple of things we should keep in mind: that lot 14 also has parking on it, and that's not a part of the development. So that would hold some, and hopefully we can continue to do that. The other thing, leading into our new thought pattern with making our city accessible with foot traffic, we need to make sure something like Rook Lane, which comes from Southern Rook Street right down to Best Street, maybe we can make something of that it's a good conduit for people to use as not just as a freight lane, but for walking, getting to the next point. Our new parking strategy will hopefully have great access, and I think we're looking at a pedestrian walk across Best Street and Rook Street. So for the people who are looking, the older demographic from the church, for instance, that there will be a place for them to walk safely. We should make sure of that. And with our new strategy, I think we will. And the other thing is the bus stops that are currently in Edward Street. Are they going to be put into parking bays because the bus depot is no longer there?
Question through to Mr. Mountain, would you like? Or to Ms. Lunsford? Ms. Lunsford, sorry.
Through you, Madam Mayor. I guess the answer for the bus stops, if that in the future might be become a temporary parking on a Sunday or something like that, that's going to be the decision outside this planning decision tonight.
Do we need them to still be there when our bus stop is in front of the Paranumble Centre?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think it's an actual bus stop. I think it's an overnight parking space for buses at the moment.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So I believe that this development will be great for our city as long as we can cross a few of those areas of Blackwood Lane, making it a conduit to our city area. But thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments from the councillors? Councillor Ennis.
Thank you. Looking at the renders, it looks quite an interesting building, and that's one of the things that I really keen to see, some more interesting buildings around our place. I notice in the building there's quite a bit of nature built in there, and I just wonder, my question is, can we enforce that they actually do something like that, or is it just a lovely picture?
Mr. Mountain, was that? Councillor Ellis? You're up again, sir.
Through you, Madam Mayor, it's not a requirement of the planning scheme to incorporate landscaping into a development such as proposed, but certainly based on the intention of the developer and the design, I have some confidence it's going to occur.
Thank you.
Confidence is a wonderful thing. Let's hope so.
Thank you. Further questions for the councillor? If I might comment that Edward Street was always for sale in the last 4 years. And I suppose what happens is sometimes our community are not aware of that. So when these things come to fruition, which is very exciting for us because we've been working behind the scenes, encouraging people to come and spend their money and develop in Devonport. And when something like this happens, it can be a bit of a culture shock for our community. So yes, it's a beloved little car park at the moment, but it needs developing. It really is just screaming out to be developed. There is some parking that is going to stay in that section just off there, and that will be great, and I'm sure it will be utilised to its full capacity. There are other car parks. There is a multi-storey car park that people are very welcome to use, and the first half hour is free. And I'm sure if we get to the point where that car park is used so much, we'll look at something else as well. There is the car park, I used to call it the CMAX car park, you now call it the Reddings car park, you can call it whatever you like, it's the car park down behind the cinema. That's not always full. So people can start to use different car parks and work out other places to, if there's just, the one car park you're always parking. Well, there is going to be some changes happening in the CBD. It's exciting. It is what we wanted to do with Living City, and I can't wait to see what else we get to announce, because we are moving forward. The city is growing. We are going to have more people living here, and we do need medium housing density. We've said yes to 3 amazing developments in residential medium density housing within 3 weeks in the last 2 months. So we are moving forward, and we need to be open for business, and we need to do this, but do it well and keep the community involved and up to date. That's the best thing we can do, and I know the councillors will be doing that while they're out and about as well. So I certainly look forward to this. I will therefore ask Councillor Hollister to close the debate.
Just on the parking issue, under the CBD planning scheme, there's no requirement for parking. probably in the future, with a bit of luck, some of the developers will decide that they will provide parking with new units, etc. No doubt there will be an appropriate cost as well for that additional space. But I fully support the recommendation.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried unanimously. Thank you. We'll get councillor Murphy to return to the fold. Thanks, Mr. Mountney. He went his money tonight. Item 5 is reports. Thanks, councillor Murphy. So we're moving on to item 5.1, the MOU Devonport City Council on grading a City of Greater Geelong. If I can have a mover of the recommendation, please.
So moved.
Councillor Viney and the seconder,
So second.
councillor Wilczynski. Thank you. Councillor Viney.
Thank you, Mayor. I think it's a great first step outlined in the agenda here to start that relationship with the City of Greater Geelong. I think it's a logical relationship that Devonport would have with the Spirit of Tasmania's coming online in the next couple of years. Without hopefully without any further setbacks. It as I said, it's just a start with some of those I guess issues that we can connect with, in particular tourism, and really connecting the tourists that are going to be on one side or the other of Bass Strait. So hopefully either start their journey in Geelong or started here in Devonport and understand that we have a relationship and we're trying to promote each other. So I'm glad that the City of Greater Geelong were open to it. I'm hopeful or expecting them to visit soon and hopefully get to meet some of the councillors and the mayor. And yeah, I think it's a great idea and a great first step from our council. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wilczynski.
Yes, I agree with councillor Viney. It's an obvious one with people in Geelong probably know the ship comes to Tassie somewhere, but what is Devonport about? So it'd be nice to let them know the size and what we have to offer. So it's a no-brainer to me. I think it's great and we can share what's good over there and what's good here. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments from the councillors? Councillor Hollister.
Devonport used to have a connection with Melbourne when the Spirit used to go in there. So it's only appropriate that we now have a connection with Geelong. For the recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor Ennis.
Thank you. I think one of the things that I noticed are good sporting connections, great sporting place Geelong, and same with Devonport, and particularly when we have our new stadium. I know basketball could benefit from some interchange, and the Cats could probably come over here and learn a bit too. So
Thank you. Councillor Shane.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if there's any lessons learned that we can exchange, both being port cities. There's some unique attributes that I think would be interesting to see what we can learn. When I was in the chamber, the Geelong Chamber of Commerce came over for a visit, and it was amazing the similar issues that we faced, and particularly with the Spirits coming online soon. I think it's really timely, and I'd just like to thank the council team for the work and making that some connection.
Thank you. Further comments from the councillors? Then I will ask. I'll just comment that I do appreciate the CEO coming over to Geelong with me back in 23. We met the mayor at the time, Trent Sullivan, who was very welcoming, and the staff were second to none in taking us, touring us, showing them their amazing new art exhibition and theatre building and their council building, which I must say our building's pretty good compared. So I was very, very pleased to see that. And then they've had a change of mayor, and we look forward to meeting with Mayor Stretch and Jelge on Thursday, if that was endorsed tonight. and we're going to get a tour of a couple of other buildings there, and certainly starting that connection. The benefits are endless of what we can do with our connection to Geelong, and we want to show them also what a great city Devonport is and what a great region it is over here, just on the outskirts of Devonport as well. So we certainly will be inviting them over and making sure that we can keep that connection going no matter what. So I look forward to it. So I will ask, therefore, Councillor Viney to close.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, hopefully when the City of Greater Geelong have their meeting to discuss this MOU tomorrow, they have similar sentiment around their table, and then we can get it signed off, or you can get it signed off on the 29th. Yeah, and hopefully one day we see Western United playing at Valley Road, maybe against the Strikers, give them a run for their money. Thank you, Mayor. Consider it closed.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 5.2 is the Environment Strategy 25 through to 2030. We had a lot of work put to us from Carol Bryant, and the recommendation is there. If I can have a mover, please.
So moved.
Councillor Wilczynski, and a seconder, please.
Second.
Councillor Ennis. Thank you. Councillor Wilczynski.
Yes, Carol and the executive teams really put some effort into it, and it is sustainable, promote living lightly, energy use reduce. It's really good. It's going out to the public for 30 days comments, so look forward to see what comes back from that. So all good.
Thank you. Councillor Ennis.
Thank you. Yeah, we've had a chance to look at the draft strategy. I'm assuming what's going to happen is after the consultation, there'll be a tweaking possibly if it comes back from members of the public with their comments, so that we can make it sort of fit really well. So that would be good. I've got a few things that I'd be happy to share with that during the consultation period as well. So looking forward to it. And this is a really good example of us putting things out and inviting people to be involved. And I think it's a good thing. If you don't ask, nothing happens.
Thank you. Any further comments from the councillors? No, I will ask Councillor Wilczynski to close.
So there, it's closing. No, nothing further to add. Thank you.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried unanimously. Moving on to item 6 is information. 6.1 is the workshops and briefing sessions. If I could have a mover, please.
So moved.
Councillor Viney, and a seconder. Councillor Shane. Councillor Viney.
Thank you, Mayor. It was good to have those sessions this month. We've definitely deep into budget considerations now, been good. And a couple of the other issues that we've discussed at tonight's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Shane.
Nothing further add, thanks.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions from the councillors? Not, I will ask Councillor Viney to close.
Yes, consider it closed. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried unanimously. 6.2 is the Mayor's monthly report. If I could have a mover, please.
So moved.
Councillor Ennis, and the seconder,
So second.
Councillor Wilczynski. Thank you. Councillor Ennis.
Busy month as always. Yeah. Thank you for all your good work.
Thank you. Councillor Wilczynski.
It's all listed for everyone to see. So well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions from the councillor? Councillor Hollister.
To your Garrett platform.
We've got money for a platform that's been in the budget for a little while. So it's just
To get
looking.
into the sea or
Sorry.
to get into the sea or
No. It's up on higher. It's
outside.
going to go ahead. Yes. All good. Any further questions from the councillors? No, I'll ask Councillor Ennis to close.
Consider it closed.
Thank you. All those in favour? Against? Carried unanimously. 6.3 is the CEO's report. If I could have a mover, please. Councillor Sheehan, and a seconder.
A second.
Councillor Wilczynski. Thank you. Councillor Sheehan.
Yes, it's all noted in the report. CEO, like the mayor, has been quite busy and productive.
Thank you. Councillor Buczynski.
Yes, I think he's been quite busy with the budget preparation, so with the executive team, so well done.
Thank you.
And all the videos.
Further questions from the councillors? Councillor Hollister.
Any movement with Burnie councillors to getting them back into Crater Coast Authority.
There's been a working group set up by the Crater Coast Authority reps, and that working group's currently meeting with some reps from Burnie to discuss their interest in coming back. So we know what they get from that group.
Further questions? Councillor Ennis, sorry.
Thank you. Just interested in the thoughts of the Jack Jumpers when they came up and discussed the plans, etc., about new Oval Stadium. I think previously when they came up showing their cut-off, when they won, they were pretty excited about being around the city. Now with the opportunity of having some show courts of basketball here, what's their thoughts about the whole thing?
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Thanks for the question. Certainly encouraging to see that the new owners, two representatives from our tour capital, from Brisbane, came to Devonport. Firstly, they've never been here before. They wanted to understand about the stadium that we're building, and those two guys, along with the CEO, spent some time. Yeah, we actually went to site, met with officers here and there in the meeting room next door, and we walked through the plans of what's proposed, and certainly positive feedback. There's as to what level of commitment that becomes was yet to be seen, but they're certainly making the right indication that they want to increase their presence in the northwest.
Any further questions from the councillors? If not, I will ask Councillor Sheen to close.
Considering that close.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
And against? Carried unanimously. 6.4 is the monthly operational report. If I could have a mover, please, for the recommendation.
I'd like to move that, thanks, Mayor.
Councillor. And the seconder? Councillor Sheen. Councillor Varney.
Yes, another big, busy month, full of lots of things going on in our little city. I was fortunate enough to get here a little bit earlier tonight and met with some of the DevYag members, and they always meet before our council meeting. So some of the other councillors around the table haven't had a chance to meet those young people. I'd really encourage it. I got a lot of enthusiasm from that group, and it seems like there's some really smart and dedicated younger people that are wanting to be to help with ideas in the future, and it's an opportunity on DevYag for them to get some experience in dealing with committees and dealing with council. So it was great to meet them. I did notice in the this is the segue into it, through the report, they met with the minister, the Honourable Roger Yench, last month or this month. So it's great that they were able to meet with him, and they mentioned earlier they're going to meet the Governor General tomorrow as well. So there you go. They're moving up in a big way, and movers and shakers with the people to know. So hopefully I'll see some of our councillors there tomorrow night as well. Through the report, I just glanced through and I got to the Facebook biggest reach. Is that the word I'm looking for? Yeah, reach. It's normally one that Councillor Moore would highlight, but it was to do with the recycling and the kiosks. I have experienced that myself. Now that the boys, it's been monetised that if they collect up cans with me, we can go and recycle it. I think they find more fun putting it in the kiosk. But I do have a couple of questions / concerns with that space, I think, after experiencing it, because in both occasions when I've been there, there's 4 kiosks, and none of them, not all of them have been operational at those times. It was down to 2 both times I was there. Also, I think education-wise, I saw at least 3 people either lining up or trying to shove in 2-litre bottles that obviously don't fit and were probably causing some of the issues with the kiosk. And then even though it's only been running for a month, that area in terms of smell and generally looking untidy, I can see that being an issue. So I guess the question through the general manager is council responsible for the maintenance or the servicing of that area, presumably more around the car park area?
Yeah, through you, Mayor, no, if council's not, we can certainly pass those concerns on to the state government, but the government have a private provider that operates those facilities and they in turn enter into a lease with the supermarket owner to locate it there in that position. So can be on behalf of the community, certainly pass those concerns on.
Because the other observation, again, because it was down to 2 kiosks, was that there was always seemed to be multiple people waiting to use the kiosk. I don't want it to be a deterrent that people won't use it because of a bad experience or getting there. And, you know, if you've driven a significant way to come in and then you can't recycle them and you got them rattling around your back of your car, you're probably just going to offload them. So that would be great. Thank you, General Manager. And this is a question specifically on page 78 to do with 5.7 in our annual plan action updates, because we are nearing the end of that cycle, noting that we've got 4 not started. So the question A is, do they carry on into our next plan? And then the very top of the graph that's given there on page 78, there is blank and then 3 not started. I'm wondering if that's a mistake.
Yes, through you, Mayor, we'll take that question on notice regarding the 3 blank. I believe, yes, it's probably term plan priorities that don't actually have an annual plan action on it, but I'll confirm that. In regard to the status of those actions this year, we're confident that there'll only be 2 or 3 that will carry over out of 44. Confident that the rest will be completed. That's not bad. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Sheen.
Thank you, Mayor. I just had a question to the General Manager. The CEO, sorry. The sandstone at the top of the Centre Tower. How often does that get? Sorry, at a later date. I just noticed on the exact day it looked like it might be just a bit of a sandblast. I note that in the report you painted the bollards around the base, but I was just wondering the frequency of the sandstone actually.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, not aware of the frequency, but certainly take that on notice and get the guys to undertake maintenance if it's necessary.
Thanks so much.
All good. Any further questions? Councillor Ennis?
Yeah, couple of comments. I think as the more of the recycling kiosks come online, and I know obviously we've got one opening soon, and that'll take a bit of pressure off us in terms of people coming in, offloading here, as I know people have been doing, which would be good. And I'm not sure where I rank, but I have visited the DVA committee, and I'm not sure if I'm above the minister or
Above the
yeah, or where, yeah, Governor General. But yes, they're great people.
Excellent. Councillor Hollister.
It's just on that, yes, Devonport Child and Family Learning Centre, they've got some very good mothers that are musicians and singers, and that produced a CD last year, and they've just produced another one, which is called Lullaby.
It's really, really good.
It is, for children that age, I think it's excellent.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that out. Any further comments or questions from the councillors? If not, I will ask Councillor Wiley to close.
Thank you, Mayor, and apologies, CEO, for I think I mucked up your title there a couple of times too. But yeah, man, consider it closed. Another busy filming month. So thanks to the council staff. Cheers.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried unanimously. Move on to 6.5, the audit panel. If I could have a mover, please.
First.
Councillor Hollister and a seconder.
Second.
Councillor Ennis, thank you. Councillor Hollister.
It's all in the report for everybody to read. Nothing to add, really.
Thank you. Councillor Ennis.
Likewise, nothing further.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? If not, I will ask Councillor Hollister to close.
Consider it closed.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried unanimously. If I could have a mover for item 7, which is moving into closed session.
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Viney, and a seconder.
Second.
Councillor Wilczynski, thank you. Councillor Viney,
It's merely procedural. Thank you, Mayor.
thank you. Councillor Wilczynski,
So
thank you. Any questions? Councillor Hollister, you have your light on. Did you have it? No. If not, I will ask Councillor Viney to close.
Consider it closed. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried unanimously. All right, we will move into a closed session.